I am Jamie Buerhle. My husband, Mark Buerhle, is currently a pitcher for the Toronto Blue Jays. In the winter of 2010, I fell in love with a dog at my local animal care and control in St. Louis, Missouri. I had gone to transport a pregnant pit bull to safety, and after I left animal control, Hope Rescues, a local rescue near and dear to my heart, asked if anyone had really pulled at my heartstrings, that they would try to make room for a few to be pulled from death row. We ended up rescuing 13 dogs of all breeds over that next week. One of those 13 dogs was the Blue Brindle American Staffordshire Terrier mix in a cage way back in the corner where hardly anyone passed by. His cage card simply read, 1-year-old male picked up as a stray. He was scheduled to be euthanized the next morning. He just sat there quietly hoping to be noticed and be one of the lucky animals to be picked to make it out alive. I currently had 3 Vizslas in my home, and a 4th dog at that time was not ideal. So I chose to find solace in the fact that he was safe and that he had a great chance at a forever home. I did, however, choose his name Slater after his coloring. I visited him several times before I left for spring training that year and reluctantly said goodbye each time. And as I was packing our home in St. Louis to go to spring training in Arizona, I received the call that Slater had been adopted. And I told myself that was the proof that I needed that it just wasn't meant to be. The powers above, however, had a different plan. The current 4-legged child in his adoptive home did not want to share the attention, and Slater became increasingly shy and fearful. The adoptive mom felt bad, but made the difficult decision to return him to Hope Rescues. The week she returned him happened to be the only week that I was going to be back in St. Louis before heading to Chicago for the baseball season. Mark looked at me and he said, "I have never heard you talk about a dog like that. Just adopt him." So on April 3rd, 2011, without Mark ever meeting him, Slater officially became a part of the Buerhle family. I have always thought breed discriminatory laws were wrong, but after adopting Slater, they became personal. However, I had no idea just how personal they really would become. It was important for me to speak out on behalf of dogs out there just like Slater. I've been given a platform to reach more people, and I try to utilize it to the fullest. The conclusion of 2011 baseball season brought us into uncharted territory. My husband became a free agent for the first time in his career, and we began to explore different teams and cities that best fit our family. When Mark was approached by the Miami Marlins, we not only had to figure out if the team was a good fit for him, but if we would be able to find a place that allowed our entire family. The county of Miami-Dade has a complete ban on pit bull type dogs. Dogs are seized from their families simply based on the way they look and not on their individual behaviors. Thankfully, we were able to find a home outside of Miami-Dade in neighboring Broward County, which I might add was also a challenge with homeowners associations and good times. In the winter of 2012, my family was completely blindsided when Mark was traded to the Toronto Blue Jays. Our head was spinning and we were trying to comprehend what had just happened. And then it suddenly became a reality that the entire province of Toronto also has a breed ban. I agree. We had enough to tackle with the house that we had purchased in Florida, my husband being on a new team, navigating a new city, let alone a different country, and leaving many friends that we had made behind. And instead, our main focus became, what will we do since one of our dogs was not allowed anywhere in the province? I frantically started emailing every resource that I could think of for advice. My husband contacted the Toronto Blue Jays for any help that they could offer as well. And all avenues came back to the same conclusion: we couldn't move together as a family. We had suggestions of living in Buffalo, New York, but the commute was too long daily to the field. Some people encouraged us to take a stand and move the entire family, including Slater, to Toronto. But we couldn't take the chance that he could be turned away at the border or, even worse, confiscated from our house. That was a risk we were just not willing to take. We also had numerous offers from people to keep Slater for the baseball season. We couldn't imagine leaving him behind and taking all the others. So we sat down as a family and we made the difficult decision that the kids and I would stay home, and the dogs, and we would visit as much as possible. We continue to live apart for the baseball season. I am so thankful every day that I have a strong marriage and a strong family unit. But with that being said, it is very difficult on us living apart. My son cries each and every time we have to leave Mark and go back home. There are days that it does nothing but anger me because the only reason that we are going through this is simply because of the way one of my dogs looks. We have received our fair share of backlash from people saying that we are not responsible parents, that we are putting our dogs before our children. As a mom, that is the most devastating thing to hear, that people think you're not doing right by your kids, that someone would question my love or my dedication to my children. Mark and I believe we are teaching our kids compassion and that animals are a lifetime commitment, not a convenience. Not to mention that our kids would be devastated to leave any of our dogs behind. We have received criticism for speaking out on the toll it has taken on my family because my husband makes more than the average person. While I agree, money has opened up more options and has enabled us to keep our dog, and I am eternally grateful for that. I also recognize that money doesn't replace our family being together. At the end of the day, I am a mom trying to keep our family unit strong while we live apart. Breed-specific laws affect families just like mine every day. The responsible, law-abiding pet owners are forced to make tough, heart-wrenching decisions regarding their beloved pets. There is nothing more heartbreaking than my 6-year-old asking me why people in Toronto do not like dogs like Slater. I don't have an answer, because there isn't one. Slater is an amazing dog that has his Canine Good Citizen certification. He's passed the control test for his therapy. He integrated seamlessly in my household of 3 Vizslas and 2 small children. I've taken him to schools, nursing homes, pet supply stores, and even Bass Pro, and watched him shine. It is time that laws make owners responsible of their pet, regardless of the breed. Let's start judging each dog on an individual basis and not blanket statements about an entire breed. Pit bull owners will always stand strong and will stand together, clearly. But we can't win this alone. We need animal lovers of all breeds to educate themselves, start talking about how these laws are nothing short of discrimination. And most importantly, let's stop making families make the choice that mine had to.